Hi again. I'm going to read from Appendix 12. The stars also. Been through it a couple times, but I couldn't quite articulate it properly so it would read right. It's a bit of a longer one. I ask that our Father guide me, and thank you. And from Bullinger, Appendix 12. I'm going to read now. In the first mention of the heavenly bodies, the purpose of the Creator is clearly stated in Genesis 1:14 through 19. Reveals the fact that they were created not only to divide the day from the night and to give light upon the earth, but they were set for signs and for seasons and for days and years. The figure polyscendenton in Appendix 6 emphasizes these four purposes and bids us single them out and to consider them separately and independently. They are for signs, Hebrew, oth, from atha, to come. Signs, therefore, of something or someone to come. Those who understand them are enlightened by them. Those who do not may well be dismayed. Jeremiah 10:2. The stars are numbered and named. There are 12 signs of the zodiac, called the stars, in Genesis 37:9, 11 of which bowed down to Joseph's, the 12th. The word zodiac means the degrees or steps which mark the stages of the sun's path through the heavens, corresponding with the 12 months. The stars were all named by God, 147:4. Most of these names have been lost, but over 100 are preserved through the Arabic and Hebrew, and are used by astronomers today. Though their meanings is unknown to them, many of them used in Scripture as well as being well known. I'm going to read that sentence again. The astronomers don't know too much about their definitions and what they mean, but many of them are used in Scripture as being well known, though the translations are somewhat speculative. For instance, Job 9:9, Hebrew Ash, Arcturus, the bear, Casil. Authorized version would be Orion, Kama, which is Pleiades. Job 38:31, Meseroth, marginally, and revised version, the 12 signs. Margin the signs of the zodiac, or separate them into their respective pictures. Comparative 2 Kings 23:5, Ash, Arcturus with her sons, the revised version, the bear with her train, both versions being incorrect as to the names. See also Isaiah 13:10 and Amos 5:8. These names in the 12 signs go back to the foundation of the world. Jewish tradition, preserved by Josephus, assures that the Bible astronomy was invented by Adam, Seth, and Enoch. See the evidence of it as early as Genesis 11:4, where we read the Tower of Babel having on his top with the heavens. There's nothing about the wrong supplied italics. Yes, okay. May reach unto. Those are italicized. The reasons why some of the reason why that the King James Version has italicized words in it are there because they were added by the translators to help the language flow better. But here it is stating that the Tower of Babel, his top of the heavens, there is nothing about the wrongly supplied italics, may reach in unto the Tower of Babel. The words doubtless refer to the signs of the zodiac pictured atop of the tower like the zodiacs in the Temple of Dendra and Enzna in Egypt. The Babylonian creation tablets refer to them through their primitive meaning and have either corrupted or lost. It is the same with the Greek mythology, which is a corruption of primitive truth which had been lost and perverted. We have to remember that our written scriptures began with Moses, say in 1490 BC, and this, for more than 2,500 years, the revelation of the hope which God gave in Genesis 3:15 was preserved in the naming of the stars and their groupings and signs and constellations. Adding a slight bit of commentary to this portion of it, keeping in mind that there is astronomy and astrology. Each one, astronomy and astrology, are separate from one another. One is a study in the understanding of stars. The other one is using the stars as a foresight, perhaps into the future or past. So, a side note, again, we see Satan's little hands and things to try to take control of something that God made and establishing his copycat theatrics to what God had created, which were the stars. And this is the difference between astrology and astronomy. So, in continuation, these groupings are quite arbitrary. There is nothing in the positions of the stars to suggest the pictures originally drawn around them. The signs and constellations were first designated as named. Then the pictures were drawn around them respectively. Thus, the truth was established and written in the heavens, where no human hand could touch it. In later years, when Israel came into the possession of the written script, In later years, when Israel came into the possession of the written scriptures of truth, there was no longer any need for the ancient writing in the heavens. Hence, the original teaching gradually faded away, and the heathen, out of the smattering they had heard by tradition, evolved their cosmogonies and mythologies. Yep, it's very true. Psalms 19 contains a vivid reference of these two books of Revelation. That is why there's a very sudden change of the subject at verse 7. A change which still perplexes and baffles all the skilled commentators. The teaching is preserved in the structure of the Psalms, where we have. This is the importance of the structures, because they will help you to rightly divide the word a little bit better, and to keep subjects and objects and etc. together. And here we will read the structure, the heavens, in them, the sun, the scriptures, in them, thy servant. In the structure, every line emphasized the elaboration of the design, for while the first half, all the terms are literary, in the later half, they are all astronomical, thus wielding the two portions of the Psalms into one harmonious whole. For the meaning of the words, reference must be made into the Psalms itself. Absolutely correct. We can only note here that the first part does not refer to the wonders of creation, but to the eloquence of its teachings and revelation. They declare and tell a narrative. They utter speech, but without words. Omit where in verse 3. And what that means is that word where should be completely erased from the Bible. I've proven that for myself. It doesn't exist there. And that one little word makes a big difference on how it reads and what it means. So I'm going to continue. In verse 3, Hebrew, they, show forth, exhibit, Genesis 3:11, Psalms 97:6, 111:6. They prophesy day by day, night by night. The question is, what do they prophesy? What knowledge do they show forth? What glory do they tell of? The answer is in Genesis 3:15. The one great central truth of all prophecy, the coming of one, who, through he should suffer, should, in the end, crush the head of the old serpent, the devil. And continuing, but where are we to open this book? Where are we to break into this circle of the zodiac signs? Through the procession of the equinoxes, the sun gradually shifts its position a little each year, till in about every 2,000 years it begins the year in a different sign. This was foreseen, and it was also foreseen that the succeeding generations would not know when and where the sun began its course. I'll read right here. So the sun has a 2,000-year circuit in different sign, and I'm going to continue. This was foreseen, and it was also foreseen that the succeeding generations would not know when and where the sun began its course, and where the teaching of this heavenly book commenced, and where we were to open its first page. Hence, the Sphinx was invented as a memorial. It had the head of a woman and the body and tail of a lion. To tell us this book, written in the heavens, began with the sign Virgo, and will end with the sign Leo. The word Sphinx is from the Greek spingo, to join, because it binds together the two ends of this circle of the heavens. The number of the signs are 12. The number of governmental perfection or rule. Compare Genesis 1:18. Appendix 10. They are divided into 3 books of 4 chapters or signs each, 12 being the product of 3 times 4, for instance, of divine truth, working in the heavens, in the earth. Each book therefore consists of 4 signs, and these are all arranged by structure in exactly the same way, each as an introversion. Thus we have the 3 books. The first book, the Redeemer and his coming. Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. And the meanings behind these are the prophecy of the promised seed, the Redeemer's work or grace, the Redeemer's conflict, the prophecy fulfilled. The second book, the Redeemed, his work as its results, the prophecy of deliverance, results of works bestowed, results of work enjoyed, the prophesied deliverance of fulfilled. Continuing on the stars, Appendix 12, the third book, the Redeemer, his second coming. Taurus, the prophecy of the coming judgment. Gemini, the Redeemer's reign in glory. Cancer, the Redeemer's possession safe. That would be us. Leo, the prophecy of triumph fulfilled. Each of the 4 chapters in each of these 3 books consist of 3 sections, and each section is represented by a constellation. There are thus 36, 3 times 12 constellations, with the 12 signs make 48, 4 times 12 in all. They may be set forth. The first book, the Redeemer, the suffering of Christ in Virgo. In Coma, the desired, the woman and child, the desired of all nations, and the most ancient zodiacs. Centaurus, with 2 natures, the despised sin offering, and Boots, the coming one with branch. And I'm going to read in Libra B, the Redeemer's anointing work. Crux, the cross endured. Lupus, the victim slain. Corona, the crown bestowed. Now we're going to go into the third set, which is within the star system, or the zodiac of Scorpio. The Redeemer's conflict is what Scorpio would be. Serpens assaulting the man's heel. Ophiuchus, the man grasping the serpent. Hercules, the mighty man victorious. And within the star, the zodiac Sagittarius, the Redeemer's trump. Lyra, praise prepared for the conqueror. Ira, or Ara, fire prepared for his enemies. Draco, the dragon cast down. The second book, the Redeemed. Capricornus, the result of the Redeemer's sufferings. Sagitta, the arrow of God sent forth. Aquila, the smitten one falling. Delphinus, the dead one rising again. Aquarius, the blessing assured. Piscis Australis, the blessing bestowed. Pegasus, the blessing quickly coming. Cygnus, the blesser surely returning. And within the star system of Pisces, the blessing and the blessings and abience. I think I said that right, but I don't know. And within Pisces, one is the band, the great enemy Cetus. Andromeda, the redeemed in bondage. Cephas, the delivered coming to loosen. And within the Aries, we have these clusters here called, within Aries, the blessing consummated. Cassiopeia, the captive delivered. Cetus, the great enemy bound. Perseus, the breaker delivering. The third book, the Redeemer, the glory that should follow. Taurus, Messiah coming to rule. Orion, the Redeemer breaking forth his light. Irindinus, wrath breaking forth as a flood. Auriga, safety for his redeemed in the day of wrath. Gemini, Messiah as Prince of Princes. Lepus, the enemy trodden underfoot. Canis Major, the coming glorious Prince. Canis Minor, the exalted Redeemer. Within Cancer, Messiah's redeemed possessions, which is Ursa Minor, the lesser sheepfold. Ursa Major, the fold in the flock. Argo, the pilgrim's arrival at home. Within Leo, Messiah's consummated triumph. And Leo is also associated with the Lion of Yah, which would be Judah, which is the king lion. Hydra, the old serpent destroyed. Crater, the cup of wrath poured out. Corvus, the birds of prey devouring. It will be noted that modern names are used, but only for the purpose of the readier identification. Some of these names were given in ignorance by those who had lost the primitive significance of the 12 signs and the 36 constellations. The Hebrew and Aramaic names of these, and of the principal stars contained in them, are full of truth. and eloquent in their teaching. Thus, Virgo, the Virgin. Here we have the star El Zamak, Hebrew Zamak, the branch. All the other stars have cognate meanings. The desired from Coma, the desired. Egyptian, Shisnu, the desired son. Centaurus, Elbaz, the despised. Boots, Hebrew, Bu, to come. Psalms 96:13, Hebrew, Ecturus. Hebrews 9:9, he cometh. Egyptian, Smat, one who rules. It's kind of a strange parallel there. Libra was anciently the altar. Akkadian, Toki. The two bright stars are today called Arabic Zubin El Ganubi, the prince which is deficient, and Zubin El Chamali, the prince which covers. The crux, Hebrew, Karath, cut off, Daniel 9:26. Lupus, Greek name, Thera, a beast, Latin, victima. Hebrew, Zabah, slain. And the zodiac of Dendra, Surah, or lamb. Corona, Hebrew, Atara, a royal crown. Arab, El Isilil, a jewel. His brightest star is Elfina, the shining one. Scorpio, Hebrew, Psalms 91:13, Coptic name. And the Coptic name is Isidis, the attack of the enemy. Arabic, El Tirah, the wounding of the coming one. The brightest star is Antares, Arab, wounding. Hebrew, Lezuth, perverseness. Serpens. The brightest star is called Hebrew, Anak, encompassing. Hebrew, Kelala, the accursed. Arabic, El-Hay, the reptile. Ophiuchus, or Ophiuchus, is from Arab. Ophiuchus is the serpent held. The brightest star is Ras El Haggis, the head of him who holds. Other names are Mergiras, contending. In the zodiac of Dendra it is Apibau, the chief who cometh. Other stars are Traphos, treading underfoot. Saiph, bruised. Carnibus, bruised. Hercules, in the zodiac of Dendra called Bau, who cometh. Arab, El Giskale, the strong one. The brightest star, Ras El Gathi, the head of him who bruises. Sagittarius, Hebrew, Keshef, an archer, Genesis 21:20. The brightest star, Hebrew, Chanun, is the gracious one, Psalms 45:2. Akkadian, Nun Ki, prince of the earth. In zodiac of Dendra, Pi Mire, graciousness, and Canem, he conquers. Lyra, Psalm 65:1. The brightest star Vega, he shall be exalted. In zodiac of Dendra, Fent Kar, the serpent ruled, originally an eagle from the confusion between Hebrew Nashur and Shur, song or music. Era, an altar upside down pointing to Taurus, Isaiah 63:4 and 5. Arab, Magarmra, the completing or finishing, Psalms 21:9-12. Draco ends the first book, the dragon cast down. Cetus ends the second book, Leviathan bound. Hydra ends the third book, the old serpent destroyed. Draco is called the trodden one. Psalms 91:13, 74:12, Isaiah 27:1. In zodiac of Dendra, it is the serpent under the 4 feet of Sagittarius, and called her Fent, the serpent accursed. The brightest star is called Thuban, the subtle. Capricornus, the goat of atonement. In zodiac of Dendra and in Esna, Hugh Penius, the place of the sacrifice. Hebrew, Gadi, the kid, or Gadah, cut off. The brightest star is called El Gadi, the kid. The next is Deneb al Kadi, the sacrifice of the kid. Sagida, the arrow, Psalms 38:2 and Isaiah 53. Hebrew, it is Shamad or Shemem, destroying. Aquila, the eagle pierced and wounded and falling. The brightest star is El to air, wounding. All others are similar. Delphinus, always a fish full of life, the head upwards. Hebrew, Delaf, the pouring out of water. Arab, Delaf, coming quickly. Aquarius in the zodiac of Dendra has two urns. So I'll read that again. In the Aquarius, in the zodiac of Dendra, he has 2 urns. The fish seems to have come out from one of them. Hebrew name, Delai, water urn or bucket. Numbers 24:7. Brightest star, Sa'ad, El Melik, is the record of the pouring forth. The next, Sa'ad El Sund, who goeth and returneth. Isaiah 32, 1, 2, 35, and etc. Pisces australis, the southern fish. Arab from hot, the mouth of the fish. Zodiac of Dendra, Aar, a stream. Pegasus, the winged horse. Zodiac of Dendra, P and Ka, Pika or Pega. Hebrew, Paha, the chief, and Su, a horse. Name thus come down. The brightest is Merkab, Hebrew, Merhak, which means returning from afar. I want to reread this second one right here, right there. Hebrew, Paha, is the chief, and Sus, a horse. Name thus come down. The brightest star is Merkab, Hebrew, Marhak, returning from afar. Cygnus, in the zodiac of Dendra, Tess Arc, this from afar. A mighty bird not falling dead like Aquila. Brightest star, Deneb, the judge. Called also Edigi, flying swiftly. The second, El Beryl, flying quickly. 2 others, Azel, who goes and returns quickly, and Fafeg, glorious, shining forth. In Pisces, Egyptian name in the zodiac of Dendra, Pecat, or Orion, or Pisces, Hori, the fishes. For instance, swarms or multitudes. Of him who cometh, Hebrew, Degem, the fishes, Genesis 14:16. Circ name, Nuno, lengthened out, for instance in posterity. Isaiah 53:10, Psalms, and so on. Note the two fishes, the earthly and the heavenly calling, one fish horizontal and the other looking upward. 113 stars, much of the same magnitude. The brightest star is Okta. And that brightest star is Okta and called the United. The next Arabic, El Samaka, the upheld, Isaiah 41, 8-10. The band, Egyptian name Uor, equals he cometh, binding them together, and breaking the band which binds them to their old enemy Cetus. Andromeda, the name of the zodiac Dendra, is Set, which means seated as a queen. Also, Circo, the chained. The brightest star is El Ferats, the broken down. The next, Marak, the weak. The next, El Amak Arab, struck down. Isaiah 54, 52, Jeremiah. Cephas, the king. In the zodiac of Dendra, Pakurhor, this one come to rule. Cephas is Greek from Hebrew Zamah, the branch. Ethiopian name, Haiha, a king. The brightest star, El Dermin, coming quickly. The next is El Firk, the Redeemer. The next El Rei, who bruises or breaks. Jeremiah 31:1. And within Aries, the ram or lamb full of vigor, not falling in death like Capricornus. The name in the zodiac of Dendra, Taurus, Ammon, which means the region or rule of Ammon. Hebrew, the name Telah, the lamb. Arab, El Hamel, the sheep. Syriac, Syrian. I think it's Syriac. Sorry for my confusion. Okay, and I'm going to continue with the Syriac name for Aries here. Amru, as in John 1:29, the Akkadian name was Bar Zagar, the altar making right, the sacrifice of righteousness. The brightest star is El Naf, or El Natik, wound or slain. In the next, El Sharatan, the bruised or wounded. Compare Revelation 5:9-12. Cassiopeia, the enthroned woman. Arabic name, El Cedar, the freed. In the zodiac of Dendra, Seth, the seated as queen. Arabic, Rukba, the enthroned. The brightest stars, Sheedir, is the freed. The next, Kaf, which is Hebrew, the branch. Cetus, the sea monster, the great enemy bound. Revelation 20:10, compares 21-3. The name in the zodiac Dendra is Canem, subdued. The brightest star is Menkar, the enemy chained. The next is Difta, or Deneb Kaetos, overthrown, or thrusted down. Another, Mira, the rebel. Job 41:1-10, Isaiah, and Psalms. Perseus, the breaker. Hebrew, Perez. Greek, Perseus, or Perseus. Romans 16:12, Micah 2:12-13. Name in the zodiac Dendra is Kar Kanem, he who fights and subdues. The brightest star is Marfak, who helps. The next, El Ganeb, who carries away. The next is Ithik, who breaks. Taurus, Messiah coming in judgment. Chaldee, Tor, hence Arabic, El-Tharu, Greek, Tauros, Latin, Taurus. Common Hebrew name is Shur, coming and ruling, and Rehem, preeminence. The brightest star is El Debaran, the leader or governor. The next is El Nath, wounded or slain. The group Pleiades is Kama, heap or accumulation. A bright star is El Sion, the center. Hebrew and Syriac name is Succoth, or booths. Another group is Hades, congregated. Deuteronomy 33:17, Psalms 44:5, Isaiah 13:11, and etc. Orion, the coming prince, light breaking forth through the Redeemer. In the zodiac of Dendra it is Hegat. This is he who trumps. Orion, Hebrew, or light, coming forth as light. Hebrew, Kassil, a strong one translated Orion. In Job 9:9, 38:31, the brightest star is Betelgeuse, beetle guys. The coming branch, Malachi 3:2. The next is Rigel, or Regal, the foot of him that crusheth. The next is Bellatrix, swiftly destroying. Another is El Nitak, the wounded one. Many others with names of cumulative meanings. See Isaiah 42. Ridanus, the river of judgment. In the zodiac of Dendra it is Fatat, the mouth of the river. The brightest star is Akernar, equals that after part of the river, so with other names going forth, flowing on to the lower regions of the south. Isaiah, Thessalonians. Origa, the shepherd, Ezekiel. Origa, Charioteer, the brightest star is Eliath, a she-goat. Modern Latin name is Capella, same meaning. The next is Menkilainen, and that would mean the band of the goats, bound, never to be again lost. In the zodiac of Dendra, the shepherd carries a scepter, Trun, the top with the goat, and bottom with the cross. Gemini, the twins. Name in the zodiac of Dendra is Clussus, or Claustrum, Hori, which is the place of him who cometh. The old Coptic name was Pi Mahai, the united. Hebrew, Thamum, from Ta-am, double the root, used in Exodus 26:4, twined together. The brightest star is Apollo, ruler or judge. The next is Hercules, who cometh to labor and suffer. Another is Elhenna, hurt, wounded, which is in Isaiah here. Lepus, the enemy trodden underfoot. In the zodiac of Dendra, the name is Beshtai Beki, which is falling confounded. Aratus says, chased eternally. The brightest star is Arnebo, the enemy of him who cometh. Other stars are Nabal, the mad, Rakis, the bound, Sugaya, the deceiver. Canis Major, Sirius, the prince. In zodiac of Dendra it is Apes, the head. In Persian planisphere, a wolf. Hebrew, Zeeb, The brightest star is Sirius, the prince, in Persian, Tistera, or Tistar, the chieftain. The next is Mizram, the prince. Another is Wasen, the shining, and another Adhara, the glorious. Many other cognate names. Canis Minor, the second dog. In the zodiac of Dendra it is Sabak, conquering, victorious. The brightest star is Procyon, the redeemer. The next is Gomezia, Arabic, the burdened, bearing for others. Many other cognate names. Cancer, the crab. Messiah's possession held fast. In the zodiac of Dendra and Esna, it is a sacred beetle. Its name there given is Claria. Cattle folds. Arabic name is El Sartan, he who holds or binds together. The Greek name is Kirkinos, encircling, the same as the Latin, Cancer, from Arabic, Khan, and in, and Ker, or Sir, encircling. The ancient Akkadian is Sukulna, the Caesar, or possessor of seed. A bright cluster is called Parasipi, a multitude of offspring. The brightest star is Tegmine, holding. Another is Akabine, the sheltering or hiding place. Another, Elaf, assembled thousands. North and south of Parasipi are two bright stars, Acellus north and Acellus south. Their sign is, looks like yin and yang basically, but that's a more modern term for it. That's the north and the south, and called two asses, thus connecting it with the Cancer, which is the sign of Issachar, the tribe Issachar of Israel. You could call Hebrews or whichever. Israel is just a more modern name for the Hebrews, basically. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Ursa Minor, the little bear, the lesser sheepfold. The brightest star of Ursa Minor is Duba, a herd. Arabic Duba means cattle. Hebrew Dobor, a fold from Dobe. Rest or security, rendered strength, in Deuteronomy 33:25. See the revised version, margin, I believe it means. All points to this, Judges 5:16. The Hebrew dab, a bear, so Arabic dub, and Persian deeb or dob. Hence the mistake. The brightest star is El Rikaba, the turned or ridden on, denoting it as the pole star. The Greeks called it Kanosura, Sinosur, but this word is Akkadian. An-Nasura, high and rising, or high and heavily positioned. The next star is Kokab, waiting on him who cometh. Ursa Minor, the great bear, the fold, the flock. Obadiah, I think it's called Obadiah. 17 through 19, Job 9:9 and 38:31 and 32, it is called Ash and her offspring. Authorized version, Arcturus, her sons. Revised version, Bear and his train, marginally sons. Arabs still call it El Naish or Anaish, the assembled together as a fold. The brightest star is Dubha, a flock, which gives its name to the two constellations. The next is Merak, the flock. Arabic, purchased. The next is Fada or Farda, numbered or guarded, Psalms 147:4. Another is called Benet Neish, daughters of the assembly. Another, El Kaid, the assembled. Many other cognate names. Argo the ship, the pilgrim safe at home. Hint, hint. The Egyptian planisphere, there are two ships, like the two folds. They occupy one half of the southern meridians. The brightest star is Canopus, the possession of him who cometh. Other names are Sephina, the multitude, Turius, the possession, Asmediska, the released who travel, Jeremiah 30:10, and Antilio, the lion. Messiah's consummated triumph in the zodiac of Dendra, it is Pi Metikaion. The pouring out of divine wrath. The three constellations crystallize the truth. Hydra, the old serpent destroyed. Crater, the cup of wrath poured out on him. Corvus, the bird of prey devouring him. I could interject here, I think, at least give you an idea of what they were referring to. Well, this is the reference here. There's the cup. It rides on Hydra. And there's the bird of prey. Right there. Right on top of little dude. The abhorred. And this is the beginning and the end of the beginning and the end. And we're right about here. So, just another side note. I have a pretty good grasp of this. I just can't recall all of the information very well, but I'm doing okay. Okay, so to continue on, the Dendra picture exhibits all 4 in 1. The Syriac name is Ero, the rending lion. Arab, El Asad, the lion leaping forth as a flame. The brightest star is Regulus, treading underfoot, as pictured. The next is Regulus, treading underfoot as pictured. I just read that twice, so sorry. The next is Denebola, the judge or lord who cometh. The next is El Giaba, the exaltation. Another is Zosma, shining forth. All others are cognate. Gives you the reference numbers. And Hydra, the old serpent. Hydra is abhorred. The brightest star is Kar Hydra. The heart of Hydra is the ancient name El Fered, the put away. Another is El Dryan, the abhorred. Another is Makar El Sigaya, the piercing of the deceiver. Yeah, okay. Crater, the cup of wrath poured out. Psalms, Revelation. The constellation has 13 stars. Depravity and Rebellion, I believe that's called. Yeah, it is. It is. 13 stars. Corvus, the raven, the bird of prey devouring, the name of the zodiac of Dendra. Herna, the enemy breaking up. There are 9 stars. Appendix 10 and 9 is Fruit of the Spirit, I believe. I'm going to check here on my charting. Yeah, Fruit of the Spirit, divine completeness from the Lord. Okay, and we were here. Yes, that's Corvus. The brightest star is Chiba, Numbers 23:8, accursed. Another is Makar El Gorab, the raven tearing to pieces. Thus the scriptures of the heavens, this is the story they tell forth. This is the speech they utter. This is the knowledge they show forth. This is no there is no articulate speech or voice, and no words are heard, but their sayings have gone out unto all of the world. Psalms 19:1 through 6. Another thing you'll find out is that pretty much all of the ancient celestial zodiac systems, from as far back as you can go, they all have basically the same exact drawings on their charts. There's more than enough proof to support that. But just a side note. Okay. Now continue with Psalms 19:1 through 6. And the quote there is, they are for seasons. Not only are the stars made for signs, Othoth, from the root Athah, to come, but for seasons. These are not the 4 seasons of the year, but the cycles of time. The figure polyscendenton in Appendix 6 in Genesis 1:14 emphasizes this. And for seasons and for days and years, the word means appointed times. Thus, the sun, moon, and stars are for signs, things to come, and for seasons, appointed times. There are no less than 10 of these cycles, all of them different, not concentric, but yet all of them coincide at the creation, but never since, like a number of hoops of different sizes hanging on a nail. This shows that they must have had a given simultaneous start. The cycle of 24 hours for the day, in evening and morning, the revolution of the moon around the earth, the lunar cycle, which began at the same moment as the solar cycle, the daily revolution of the sun, which places him on the Mediterranean at noon each day, the solar cycle coinciding with the first of the 7 years of lunar motion and repeating itself every 365 days. The beginning of a week of 7 days on the first day of the week of the first month of the first year of the first solar cycle. The first eclipse of a cycle of 18 years and 11 days, to which the ancient astronomers gave the name of Saros, each Saros containing an average of 70 eclipses, dividing it into 2 portions of 594 years and 666, making it together 1,260 years. Beside these, there is a period of the I know what that word is. It's just escapes me. I'm going to try number 8 again here. Besides these, there is a period of the heliacal rising of Sirius, in a cycle of 162 years. The transit of Venus, the grand cycle known as the precession of the equinoxes. All these combine and unite in showing that the chronology of the Archbishop Usher was substantially correct, and this proves that the inflated chronology of the modern historians and theologians is entirely unscientific, being the hypothesis of men who dabbled in things outside their own sphere, and of which they were incompetent to form a correct judgment. So I get what's going on as far as the stars are concerned. The main thing to remember is you have astrology and astronomy, and those are the differences between using the star systems as some kind of a fortune teller or a future teller for our own purposes, other than just observing them and understanding them biblically what they are. So there's a big difference between the two, astrology and astronomy. So I don't use astrology whatsoever. I use astronomy. So that is the completion of the stars also. And I thank you, and God bless.